Let's get into it. The first movie on our list is titled Project Power. Now, the release date for this was August 14th, 2020. You can go watch this on Netflix. And the main actors in this movie is Jamie Foxx, who plays the character of Art, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, who plays the character of Frank, and Dominique Fishback, who plays the character of Robin. The director is Henry Juice and Ariel Schulman. The location is New Orleans, Louisiana, and the setting is New Orleans of 2020. So this movie is about a pill that gives people superhuman powers for 5 minutes. And Art, our main character, is trying to find his daughter, and an unlikely partnership between a New Orleans cop and a high school teenager are trying to stop the drug from spreading to the world, because there will be consequences if it does spread. And that's pretty much how that movie goes. So without belaboring the point and giving away too much of the movie, let's go ahead and review this movie and tell everybody what you think. And we're going to start off with E-Rock. Go for it, E-Rock. What do you think about Project Power?
The movie was dope. I loved it. To be honest with you, it was one of those movies, after I saw it the first time, I was like, I can definitely see myself watching this again a couple of times. Because I know lately with movies, I watch them one time and I really don't really care for seeing them again unless, somebody else wants to watch them. But this is definitely a movie that you can watch over and over and have just as much fun watching it the second and third time as you did the first time. It kind of put me in the mind frame of X-Men. When I watched it, the special effects were awesome. The storyline was great. I also liked, how they developed the characters as well, too. So that was a good plus. And overall, you have great actors, Jamie Foxx, what's his name? Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Is that his name? Levitt.
That's his name.
Yeah. He did really good. The girl that was a newcomer, she was excellent. And the only thing really I could say that I didn't like about it was I kind of wish they probably focused more on Jamie Foxx's powers a little bit. They really didn't get into it as much until kind of towards the end of the movie. But other than that, I really don't have much to say that was bad about it. So in my mind, I'm going to give it 4.5 movie reels.
All right.
It is 5 because 5 is, that's really got to be up there. That's kind of like the Godfather type level, things like that. But definitely, I would say 4.5.
Okay. All right. Moving on, we're going to go with Rod P. Tell us what you thought of Project Power.
So I agree with E-Rock. It gave you that X-Men feel just because of some of the things that you see in the movie. Special effects were nice. I'll give them that. But that's what my issue was. If I want to watch X-Men, I want to watch X-Men. I don't want to sit here and watch people I don't know. So for example, there's a guy in the movie by the name of Machine Gun Kelly. Let me tell you something.
MGK.
MGK sucks as a rapper and equally so as an actor.
I disagree on both fronts.
Okay. The only reason why you disagreeing with me, Brian,
here he go. I know where you going. Whatever. That ain't why. That ain't why.
He ain't had a hit since Wild Boy.
Just because you don't have a hit don't make you a bad rapper.
Hey, Ron, let me tell you something. I was up at 3 a.m. one morning flipping channels. And what do I stumble across? The Adult Film Industry Awards. And guess who was performing at this event? Machine Gun Kelly. That ought to tell you how far he's sunk in the industry. But back to this movie.
That don't mean he's not a good artist. But okay, that's beside the point. Yeah, we can talk about that off camera. Go ahead, because you got your mind.
Back to this movie. So, do I feel the young lady in the movie, her character Robin, I thought for someone who's new on the scene, she did a good job. Jamie Foxx, you come to expect a certain level from him. Ever since he's done Ray and everything else, you kind of expect a certain level from him. I thought he hit on the level that I'm accustomed to seeing. I think Jamie Foxx, when he comes out with a movie, Jamie Foxx is supposed to be like, okay, I need to watch this because Jamie's going to give me an Oscar performance. That's how I look at Jamie Foxx now. I expect Oscar-worthy performances. Did he give me an Oscar in this performance? No. But was it piss poor? Absolutely not. Me personally, I was kind of bored with the movie because it was too X-Men like. And it seemed to start, as it progressed for me, I started to put the pieces of the puzzle together and the movie got boring to me. That's just me though. So if I give this thing a rating, I'm giving it, because it had, I'm going to say this, because of the young lady and her job that she did, I'm going to give it a 3. Initially, I had it down as a 2.5. My opinion.
So we're giving it a 3, correct?
3.
All right. Well, with that said, you heard the wow from the man Shay Z, so he's gonna give you his opinion. Go ahead, Shay. You got the mic.
All right. I'm gonna disagree with you, Rob T. I think the movie was actually pretty good, according to what Iraq said. The plot was good in terms of how they set it up as a superhero movie, and I can understand, if you're very huge big fan of X-Men and all that, it kind of takes away that effect. So I can understand that part, but I do understand, and I like how the director set up the movie. The location, New Orleans, was a perfect location for this type of movie. And I like the new characters. If you're an X-Men fan, if you're a superhero fan, you would like this movie. That's the way I saw it. So I like the development of the characters, especially Dominique Fishback. She did superb in this movie. I was really bobbing my head left and right, watching how she was spinning those rhymes. It was pretty. She made it believable that she sold me on that role. So for me, that was really excellent that she did. Jamie Foxx did an excellent job. Joseph Gordon-Levitt did a pretty good job as well. There was chemistry between the characters. They were very excellent. I think if you go to watch this movie, if you're a huge fan of sci-fi, action, superhero, or a combination of all those three, you're gonna love that movie. I was born in New Orleans, Lafayette, Louisiana, so it was a way of me going back home as well, just watching it. And I appreciated the film being located in New Orleans. So I'm going to give it a 4.5 out of 5 reels for the movie because I can watch it over and over again.
Okay, all right. That is interesting how everything turned out. All right, so everybody went drastic one way or the other, but all in all, still been a good movie. Before I give my rating, let me remind the viewers that our ratings we put them in the forms of reels, movie reels. So when you hear us give a 1 to 5, 5 being the absolute best, 1 being the worst. So you can have 1 movie reel or 5 movie reels. Once we have given all of our ratings, we'll take the average of that movie, and any movie with 3 movie reels or more will get a golden clock, which means it's worth your time. If you have below a 3 on average, then you will get a broken gray clock, which is it's not worth your time. So we're trying to save you the time. So I just want to let you know that's what it's about. So let me give you my particular review. What stood out about this movie is the different take on the superhero genre. I like the 5-minute limit that each person got and the fact that you didn't know what power you would get. I thought that was really fresh. The side effects that can come taking the drug was really good too. I can't get into anything outside of that. You guys got to watch the movie. But that told me that there was no shortcuts. The special effects were great, and the Jamie Foxx character, no nonsense attitude. And once again, you'll know what I'm talking about when you see the movie. That was a breath of fresh air. I hate characters who talk too much when they got to get through stuff. Let's get to it. Let's get to it. I don't want to hear nothing else. I don't want to negotiate with you. Let's go. And I appreciate that about his character. Where the movie failed is that it was a mediocre attempt to cover the background stories of all the characters. They did it through flashbacks and one-time conversations, so you can miss some details quite easily. I love the fact that they showed a Black female teenager who was smart, but I believe that they overdid it. Some of the stuff she picked up on way too quick without explaining if she had any powers or anything. It just didn't make no sense to me. So that was too what's the word I'm looking for? That was just too over the top for me. And I didn't like the rapper angle.
Go ahead. Sorry to cut you off. Was that in when she was in the classroom? I don't want to get too much details, but is that
no on the ship. On the ship.
Okay,
you gave me no background that you even knew about that, and all of a sudden you could figure all that stuff out just the first time.
Okay,
I'm like,
gotcha.
we never knew if she was genius level or anything, so that was like, yeah, it's over the top to me. I want you to be smart, but I want you to be realistic smart, unless it says in your character, hey, you're a genius, explicitly.
You're talking about Robin, or you're talking about the other teenager?
I'm talking about Robin, the teenage girl.
Yeah.
I didn't like the rapper angle. It's stereotypical. I love the fact that we had a lot of Black actors. Obviously, it's in Louisiana. You should show that. But let's do something else. Let her be trying to be an engineer or something. Why always got to be a rapper? I'm tired of that. We can do better. I'm not saying that's bad. I'm not saying it's bad, but it's been done.
I agree with you. I agree with you to a certain point, but I also differ from it. But we can talk about. I'll let you finish.
Okay. A fun fact about this movie is that both Jamie Foxx and Joseph Gordon-Levitt played roles in superhero movies. Jamie Foxx was Electro in Amazing Spider-Man 2, and Joseph Gordon-Levitt in The Dark Knight Rises. So they both had that background experience coming into it. My rating is 3 reels. Like I said, the things that were over the top, it made the movie, because they didn't go in enough detail, it was just a very average movie to me. It was worth watching, but it wasn't like, it didn't blow me away. Okay. So that's what I leave it with. So for that, our overall score, if I put it on average, is hold on 1 second. Let me add it up for you. It becomes a 3.75. Now, that may skew one way or the other when we have everybody, the whole cast, but between us, 3.75, which means it gets the golden clock and it is worth your time. So go ahead and go check it out if you haven't already. And I know Shay Z wants to debate with me about this, what he didn't like about the rapper thing. So before
y'all debate that, I want it on record that it is barely worth your time.
3.75 is a pretty good deal. I mean,
it's a pretty good deal.
Skin of the teeth.
But it's a pretty good deal
other person,
for movies. For movies these days, that's a pretty good deal because, like Eric said, if you're not watching Godfather and all that kind of stuff over and over again, it's hard to get a lot of movies to be consistent like that. So 3.5 for Project Power, trust me, it is worth your while, even if it's bare. It doesn't matter. I agree with the 3.75 rating, but on average. But it just means that you can go ahead and watch it, and probably even watch it 1 or 2 more times before you get done with it.
Let me say this. One thing going back to what Rod was saying about he was a little disappointed because he didn't get that Oscar performance from Jamie Foxx. I would say I like the fact that you have these big name actors that are willing to do these movies like on Netflix. So when I noticed that he was on a Netflix movie, immediately I wasn't really expecting some knock it out of the park performance. But I just like the fact that we're able to get these type of movies, you know, straight to consumers at home through Netflix or whatever other streaming platforms, that they're good quality movies with good actors. So I see what you're saying, Rod, but at the same time, I wasn't really expecting him to be like really just like, oh wow, he's gonna get nominated for this because it was, you know, a Netflix movie.
But I don't understand what y'all criteria is for great acting, because I think for his character, he did a great job. Like, he was believable.
Exactly.
He acted like somebody who literally was in that situation to me. I think he did exactly what he was expected to do.
Exactly. Everything
Well,
that he did in
I
that
see
role.
what you're saying. It's like certain people you kind of expect. Well, that's why I said I didn't really expect that from Jamie Foxx, because he, in my opinion, he's done what, 2 movies where he did Ray, and what else did he do that he was really, he did that
Ray is
movie
what he got the Oscar for,
where he was homeless.
Yeah, but I think you know, in Hollywood, just because someone gets an Oscar in a movie doesn't necessarily mean that every movie he has to have an Oscar performance, or
Why
what
not?
you think is a. Well, here's my explanation. A great performance doesn't always have to be an Oscar criteria. So
let me rephrase what I said.
But you have to define what your criteria is, because all the people that win Oscar, with the exception of one time, is a dramatic movie. Like, that's the only movie or the only types of movies where people show their acting chops. And I think that's bias in and of itself.
Is it wrong for me to want to see, if I want to see a Joe Schmo actor, I'll go back to our first episode and rewatch the one movie with
right.
No, so for me, Rod, I think we may be putting too much emphasis on Oscar performance for a movie.
Don't bow down that weak. That's weak because make him defend his position. Because the problem is that you're saying, well, why shouldn't I expect it? You should expect it. But tell me how he didn't.
I don't expect it based on.
But why didn't he give that performance? What is an Oscar performance to you? Because he did a great job to me.
Exactly.
I don't know what you're talking about. Because to me, what it sounds like you said is that you were looking for some dramatic performance, but that's not that kind of a movie. It's not a dramatic movie. It's a superhero movie.
I didn't say he didn't do a great job. I just say I got a certain level that I hold.
I get it. So
what does that mean? What does that mean?
So be specific. Like, what level didn't he reach in this type of a movie?
For me, I just couldn't take it serious. It's
a superhero movie. No, you can't take it serious. That's why.
Bro, his character. We can't go too deep without giving away the movie.
But
his character was believable. Was believable.
Let me say this. I actually don't hold Jamie Foxx to that level. There's a handful of actors that I hold to that Oscar-worthy performance ability each time they do a movie, and it's very limited. Jamie Foxx really, to me, is not on that list. So
I think that all comes down to the character that you're playing, and I think y'all need to go back. So on our next episode, I really think I want y'all to come with what makes an Oscar-worthy performance. I want you to specifically say what makes that. For me, because I know this offhand, is, are you believable within the context of the movie and the character that you are trying to portray? He was 100% believable, because if that was me and I was searching for my daughter, I would have been no nonsense the same way he was.
To be honest, the people that usually get nominated for Oscars, majority of the time, correct me if I'm wrong, they usually are method actors. Most of the time.
But see, this is my problem. This is the bias of the Academy, is that they only put that in dramatic drama movies. Like, those are the only movies that can show that, with the exception of The Dark Knight. And he got that posthumously. So,
but that was very dramatic. That was very dramatic.
And that's my point. He played the character to what it was supposed to be about. And they don't even nominate some of those characters or some of the movies to be in those situations. So you really
So,
don't
so
see.
let me.
So you have to judge it
For
based
me,
on the movie and the
So
character that you're trying to
let me
portray.
say
it's
this.
fair to say, though, guys, is it fair to say that Ron, E-Rock, Shay, each one of us has a different way that we look at, quote, an Oscar-winning
That's
performance.
why I wanted you to explain specifically
here's
what that was for you.
Specifically, here's the first criteria for me, and this is just me.
Okay,
So it's my
fair.
opinion. So you can't get mad at it. You can't
Right,
debate.
of course. Go ahead.
I'm mad already.
For me, I need to know that I sat there and I couldn't get up. Like you had me. I didn't fold clothes.
So wait,
But is
Ron,
that the
Ron,
movie's
Ron.
fault or the actor's
That's the
fault?
movie or the actor?
No.
Is that a movie or an actor?
I'm sorry?
Because it sounded like you had a problem with the movie, not
Or
the
the
actor.
The actor.
No.
Ah.
You just said
For me?
something different. You just said something different right now. You just said for
What did I just say?
me.
I said for me.
For you.
Are you watching the movie for the movie, the subject of the movie, what's in the movie, or are you watching it for the actor?
Oh, I watch for both. But mainly, I'm watching the movie. But in turn, it coincides together because a great actor is going to make you get even more into that movie, even more. I'm not saying Jamie did bad. I'm just saying, was it on the level that I was expecting? Because, I mean, when you pop on the Netflix, and the new thing with Netflix is, at least for me, seeing it is like, oh, this is the number 2 ranked movie in the country right now. I'm sitting there like, oh, shoot. All right, let's get it going. And I'm looking, I'm like.
Okay, so here's what I'm going to say. I understand where you're coming from in terms of you were in that mood by the movie. And it sounds like you're tilted towards how the movie, affected you versus how the character or a character affected you. So you're saying, based on what you're saying, I may be wrong, but it's very possible that an actor can play the character so well and the movie can still be bad. And those are two different things.
That's always a possibility.
Yeah, those are two different things. But what
Got
we're
a movie
saying,
that happened is Virtuosity with Denzel Washington. Denzel Washington
Yeah.
made me want to watch that movie, even though it was a terrible movie.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is, an Oscar performance, for me, I always focus on the character. If I watch a movie and I see the character and he's believable, that I am convinced that that person is no longer Denzel Washington. He's now John Doe or whatever, right? John Q or whatever. And I literally see him as John Q and not Denzel. That's an Oscar performance. It's a believable character. The movie might not be great, but the character is so outstanding. And that's what I meant. Like Jamie Foxx played the character so well. He was one of the reasons why I gave it a 4.5, as well as Dominic Fishback, is that they played the character so well, and the relationship between the characters were very believable and real, that I felt like that made the movie even better. That movie had a potential, apart from the graphics or the CGI. That movie had a potential to tank. It had a huge potential of going the other way, but the believable of the characters made it such a good movie. Obviously, the plot was good.
All right, last word, fellas. Last word. Because we got to move on to the next movie.
Ultimately, for me, did Jamie do a great job? Was Jamie's character believable? Yes. I never said it wasn't. I just said the whole movie. Okay, the whole movie, not just Jamie. And I know I put a big emphasis on Jamie in this movie because it's Jamie. He's the headliner. Let's call it as it is, right? But the whole movie, I just wasn't feeling it. I respected it. It had its parts. I just wasn't feeling it.
All right, and that's the last word on that. All right, next up is the movie called